Chemical addictions. This is a very addicted culture to everything, to power, to money, to sex, to drugs, to coffee, and addiction comes out of that alienation, that cut-offness, that hunger, in which people keep wanting more of stuff, and more and more and more. And my sense is, instead of dealing directly with addictions per se, I would rather cultivate those other qualities of quietness of mind and openness of heart, because as you cultivate that spaciousness inside yourself, a lot of your patterns of behavior change, and the need for the addiction. It's like whether you deal with a symptom or you deal with a cause. And I tend to go for the cause and go for the spiritual cause rather than dealing with it psychologically, because I find that although, I'm very impressed with stuff like AA, for example. I think that has done, but see, that has the 12th step in it, which is basically the same spiritual teaching I'm giving. And that's got it lurking in there. And so that I really honor it. I think that and Al-Anon and a lot of things have been very, very useful, extremely useful in our culture. I think we're getting a handle on it. I think that often some of our addictions are very resistant to change. And I met a guy. I was in Thailand, and I was invited to a monastery where they cure heroin addicts and opium addicts. And they do it in 10 days, and it costs $15. And I couldn't believe that, as you can imagine. So I went there to see it. And I met a monk there. He was a Theravadan Buddhist monk. And he had been a narc, and a Thai narcotics agent. And his aunt was a Buddhist saint, whatever that means, and she said, instead of killing people, why don't you help them? He said, I don't know how to do that. And she said, well, I'll teach you. You clean your act up. And so he became a Buddhist monk, which took 218 no-nos. You can't do anything in that tradition. You sleep on hard beds, you can't listen to music, you can't do anything. And he added 10 more. He was really gung-ho. And then she gave him a diuretic, thing that makes